AITA for leaving after my girlfriend used our house money to pay her ex's rent? My name is Tristan, I'm 35, and until 3 weeks ago, I thought my girlfriend Maya and I were doing the boring adult thing pretty well. We had been living together for almost 3 years in the Raleigh-Durham area, sharing a 2-bedroom apartment with a noisy dishwasher, one decent couch, and a little whiteboard on the fridge where we wrote down grocery lists and savings goals. I work as a logistics manager for a regional medical supply company, which is not glamorous, but it pays steadily, and I'm the kind of person who color codes bills because late fees genuinely offend me. Maya used to tease me for that. She'd say I made budgeting look like a complex investigation. I thought we were saving for a small wedding or maybe a starter house if the market ever stopped acting so unpredictably. I thought we were on the same team. Then I found out our future money had been quietly funding her past. Maya is 32 and worked in marketing support for a dental group. She was funny, social, and better than me at making our apartment feel like a home. I could hang a shelf level on the first try, but she was the one who could put a cheap Target lamp in the corner and somehow make the room look warm. She remembered people's birthdays, brought cupcakes to work when someone was having a bad week, and cried at dog rescue videos even when she insisted she wasn't crying. For most of our relationship, our money arrangement seemed reasonable. We weren't living some luxury lifestyle. We were the kind of couple who debated whether name-brand trash bags were worth it and bought Costco paper towels like we were preparing for a winter storm. Rent in our complex kept jumping every renewal, and the package room broke at least 2 times a month. We had neighbors who argued through the walls on Sunday nights, a gym nobody used after February, and a resident portal that charged fees for the privilege of paying rent. Still, it was ours. Our couch had a dip in the middle from movie nights. The broken rack in the dishwasher only slid out if you pulled it at a weird angle. There were Amazon boxes by the door more often than I'd like to admit. It looked like 2 people building a life. When we first moved in together, Maya told me her student loans were crushing her. She said she was on income-driven repayment, but the monthly minimum still hit hard with her car payment and old credit card debt from her 20s. She'd get servicer emails and sigh dramatically at the kitchen island, laptop open, hair twisted up with a claw clip. I swear, I'm still paying for choices I made when I thought brunch was a personality, she said once. I didn't mind carrying more weight for a while. That's what partners do when one person is behind. I made more, had better credit, and had fewer debts, so I paid about 70% of the rent and most of the utilities. Car insurance was in my name because it got us a better rate. Internet, renter's insurance, streaming services, and our grocery subscription all ran through cards I managed. Maya contributed to the joint checking account every paycheck, but less than I did, and I told myself it was temporary. The joint checking account was supposed to make things simpler. Rent came out of it through the resident portal. Electricity, internet, groceries, and household stuff came from it. We also had a separate high-yield savings account we called the house fund, though sometimes we jokingly called it the maybe wedding, maybe down payment, maybe North Carolina lottery miracle fund. Maya would send me Zillow listings during lunch. Little townhouses with bright kitchens. Ranch homes that needed some love, which always meant the bathroom looked heavily outdated. We had a folder with mortgage pre-approval documents I'd started collecting, and a wedding invitation sample magnet to the fridge under a note that said, "Small, fun, no chair covers." It wasn't about granite countertops. It was about having something that was ours. The first strange transfer showed up on a Tuesday. I was at work, eating a sad turkey sandwich at my desk while a shipment from Charlotte was delayed because somebody had mislabeled a pallet. I opened the banking app to check whether the electric bill had cleared because I didn't trust the power company's autopay after they double-charged us the year before. That's when I saw it. Zelle transfer, see read. $450. Memo, urgent. I stared at it long enough for my coffee to go cold. At first, I honestly thought it was something boring. A mistaken transaction. A work thing Maya had forgotten to mention. Maybe she'd paid someone back for concert tickets or a dental conference hotel room. The name didn't mean anything to me. That night, I brought it up while we were eating pasta at the kitchen island. Maya had made Jared's sauce better by adding garlic, red pepper flakes, and enough Parmesan to make it legally a dip. "Hey," I said, keeping my voice casual. "Who's C-Reed?" Her fork paused for half a second. Not long enough to be dramatic. Just long enough for me to notice. "Nobody important," she said. Just an old thing I owed. I forgot to tell you. From the joint account? She took a sip of water. Can we not make this weird? I'm not making it weird. I just saw a $450 transfer labeled urgent. It was a repayment, she said quickly. From forever ago. I handled it. She changed the subject to a wedding venue email her coworker had forwarded, and I let her. I didn't want to be the guy who interrogated his girlfriend over one transfer. I have a quiet fear of looking controlling about money. My dad was the type to ask my mom why she bought name-brand cereal, and I promised myself I would never make someone feel small over spending. So I swallowed the unease. 2 days later, I looked again. Not because I was snooping, because something about her answer kept tapping the back of my brain. I downloaded the last 6 months of statements while Maya was in the shower and searched for read. There were more. $300 in November. Memo, car. $600 in December. Memo, catching up. $250 in January. Memo, medical. $800 in February. Memo, urgent. Another $450 that week. The worst part wasn't the total. It was the rhythm. Most of the transfers happened 1 or 2 days after my paycheck hit the joint account. I sat at the small desk in our second bedroom, the one we called the office even though it was mostly boxes we saved for the house someday, and felt my stomach go cold. The printer hummed beside me, spitting out statement pages while Maya blow-dried her hair down the hall. I didn't know what she paid privately. I didn't have access to her personal account, and I wasn't going to break into anything. But I knew what she pulled from us. I knew my paycheck was going into that joint account, and I knew money was going out to a person she had described as nobody important. The next time I asked, I had dates. We were folding laundry on the couch, which is a generous way of saying I was folding and Maya was scrolling through her phone while occasionally matching socks. So see, Reed, I said. That wasn't one repayment. Her shoulders tightened. What? There are multiple transfers. Over months. She set down her phone. Why are you digging through everything? It's our account. And I told you it was complicated. You told me it was an old thing you owed. It is old, she said. Caleb helped me when I was broke after college. I'm not just going to act like that never happened. That was the first time she said his first name. Caleb is your ex, right? Her face changed. She didn't look guilty exactly. She looked irritated that I'd gotten to the point faster than she wanted. Yes, but don't say it like that. Like what? Like I'm doing something completely wrong. I'm asking why you're sending our money to your ex. Maya stood up, laundry sliding off her lap. You don't get to police every dollar. I'm asking about our dollars. That's exactly what I mean, she snapped. You make everything sound like a spreadsheet. I almost laughed, because that was such a Maya line. 2 years ago I would have smiled and let it soften the room. This time, it landed differently. I'm not asking why you helped someone, I said. I'm asking why you used our account and lied about it. She rubbed her face. I didn't tell you because I knew you'd react like this. React to what? Knowing. To you making a huge argument out of it. I didn't yell. I wanted to, but I didn't. I asked how much more she planned to send him. She said she didn't know. I asked if the money was coming from her share. She said money was money once it was in the account, which was interesting because she had never said that when rent was due. After that, I started paying attention in a way I'm embarrassed I hadn't before. Maya always got extra affectionate before the bigger transfers. She'd suggest a cheap dinner at home and say she didn't want us spending too much. She'd thank me for being patient about her loans. She'd curl into me on the couch and say, I feel safe with you, which used to make me feel proud. Looking back, those moments lined up too neatly. She wasn't just taking money. She was keeping me comfortable while she did it. The clearest moment came on a Saturday when we were supposed to tour a townhouse in Cary. It was overpriced because everything within a 40-minute commute apparently had gold pipes now, but it had a small backyard and a kitchen Maya had been talking about all week. That morning she sat on the edge of the bed and said she couldn't go. I'm overwhelmed, she said, eyes wet. The mortgage rates, the closing costs, all of it. Can we skip today? I felt guilty immediately. I told her, of course. We ordered Thai food, watched a documentary neither of us cared about, and she fell asleep with her head on my shoulder. That night, while I was brushing my teeth, the banking app notified me. Zelle transfer, Caleb Reed. $800. Memo, rent. I stood in the bathroom holding my toothbrush, mint foam in my mouth, feeling like an absolute fool in the least cinematic way possible. I had spent my lunch breaks comparing mortgage rates. She had spent hers moving our future into his account. The twist came 2 nights later. I was cooking dinner because Maya was working late, and our shared tablet was propped against the backsplash playing a recipe video. The tablet was mostly for recipes, Netflix in the kitchen, and controlling our cheap smart bulbs when the app wasn't being useless. A message popped up across the top. Caleb, I hate needing you like this. I know you're single and don't owe me anything, but you're the only person who hasn't given up on me. That one sentence did more damage than all the bank statements. I didn't tap it. I didn't open the thread. I didn't need to. I took a photo of the notification with my phone, then turned back to the stove and stirred the chicken like my life hadn't just tilted sideways. Single. Not, your boyfriend doesn't know. Not, thanks for helping even though you've moved on. Single. Caleb didn't know about me. Or at least he didn't know in any real way. He didn't know we lived together. He didn't know we had a joint account. He didn't know the woman sending him rent money had a wedding invitation sample on her fridge and moving boxes stacked in the office for a house she was supposedly buying with someone else. When Maya came home, she kissed my cheek and said, "Smells good." For the first time in 3 years, I looked at her and did not feel responsible for fixing anything. We ate dinner. I asked about her day. She complained about a dentist at work who kept replying all to emails. I nodded in the right places. Then I said I had an early meeting and went to bed. I didn't sleep much. The next morning, I called my mother from the parking lot outside a bank branch. Diane is 61, practical in the way only a woman who raised 2 kids and worked billing for a hospital for 30 years can be. She has a gift for making panic feel inefficient. I told her the basics. Joint account. Transfers. Ex-boyfriend. Single. She was quiet for a few seconds, then said, "How much of the account is yours?" "I can prove most of it." "Then prove it. Print everything. Don't guess. Don't embellish. Don't make things harder for her. You just have to stop volunteering." That sentence hit me harder than any insult would have. I had been volunteering for my own disadvantage. Inside the bank, I opened a new checking account. The banker asked if I wanted overdraft protection, and I almost laughed. I redirected my direct deposit to the new account before I left the parking lot. Then I changed passwords for my personal banking, my email, and anything financial Maya might have had saved on her laptop or the tablet. I didn't touch her personal account. I didn't drain the joint account. I didn't take anything I couldn't trace. I spent 2 nights at the office desk with a highlighter, separating legitimate shared expenses from Caleb payments. Rent, utilities, groceries, insurance. Then the transfers. I made a spreadsheet because yes, Maya, sometimes the spreadsheet is the point. Over 7 months, $4,850 had gone to Caleb from the joint account. Based on deposits and timing, I could document that at least $3,700 of that came from money I had contributed beyond my share of actual household expenses. I moved that documented amount into my new account. Not a penny more. Then I handled the autopays. Car insurance. Removed Maya's car at the end of the paid term and sent her the notice. Internet. Changed the payment method to the joint account until the lease ended, then scheduled cancellation. Renter's insurance. Confirmed coverage through the lease, then removed renewal. Streaming services. Changed passwords and payment methods. Grocery subscription. Canceled. Rent stayed current. Electricity stayed current. I wasn't trying to get us evicted or shut off the lights. I wasn't trying to make her life impossible. I was done subsidizing the lie. The lease renewal offer came by email that same week, which felt almost too clean. Our complex wanted another year at a higher rent, because apparently the broken package room needed a cost of living adjustment. I went to the leasing office on my lunch break. Mr. Harlan, the property manager, was in his late 50s and had the permanent expression of a man who had heard every possible excuse about pet fees. "I need to ask about non-renewal," I said. He pulled up our account. "Lease ends June 30th. You need 60 days notice. Both tenants are responsible through the end." "I understand. Can I give written notice that I personally won't renew?" He looked at me over his readers. "Relationship issue? Financial issue?" He nodded. "Those are usually louder." He gave me the form. I signed what I could sign, emailed a copy to myself, and later received confirmation from the apartment office that the lease would not renew if proper notice from the household was completed. I knew Maya would still have to sign the final non-renewal or qualify a loan for a new lease, But the important part was that I had started the process before she could talk me into another year. At home, Maya noticed the shift. I was quieter. Not cold exactly, just less available. When she brought up the wedding venue email again, I said, "We should pause that." When she sent me a Zillow listing, I replied, "Not a good time." When she came up behind me while I was making coffee and wrapped her arms around my waist, I didn't lean into it. "What's going on with you?" she asked. "Just thinking." "You've been thinking for a week." "Yeah." She laughed like she wanted me to laugh too. That sounds ominous. Every time she said, "our future," I heard a cash register. The money stream dried up the Friday after my direct deposit changed. I came home to find Maya standing by the kitchen island, phone in hand, face pale. The dishwasher was running loudly, even though nothing in it would come out clean because of the broken rack. A stack of mail sat by the door. The apartment looked normal, which made the whole thing feel much worse. "Did you move your paycheck?" she asked. I set my keys down. "Yes." Her eyes widened. "Why would you do that without talking to me?" "Because you were using the joint account for things I didn't agree to." Her phone buzzed. She glanced down, then flipped it face down on the counter. "Is that Caleb?" I asked. Her jaw tightened. "Don't." Another buzz. Then another. Finally, she picked it up, and I saw the preview before she angled it away. "Caleb, hey, the transfer didn't go through. I'm short by 600. Are you okay?" Maya looked at me like I had slapped her. "You embarrassed me," she said. That was the moment something in me settled. Not broke. Settled. "I embarrassed you. You made me look unreliable." "No, Maya. I stopped paying for the lie." Her face flushed. "You don't get to financially control me because you're jealous." I almost didn't recognize her voice. It was sharp and shaky, built more from panic than conviction. "Financial control is not me putting my own paycheck in my own account," I said. "Financial control is not me refusing to send my money to your ex-boyfriend. It's complicated. You keep saying that like it means something." She started pacing between the island and the fridge, where the whiteboard still had "open house" written from the weekend we never went. He needed help. He lost contract work. His rent went up. He doesn't have family like you do. And he thinks you're single. She stopped. I pulled my phone out, opened the photo of the tablet notification, and placed it on the counter. For once, Maya had nothing ready. I went to the office and came back with the folder. Printed statements. Highlighted transfers. Deposit records. The non-renewal form. I laid them out on the kitchen island one by one. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. The paper did it for me. "Here's my paycheck on November 10th, I said, pointing. "Here's $300 to Caleb on November 11th. Here's December. Here's January. Here's the $800 after you canceled the open house. Here's the transfer that failed today because my paycheck is no longer funding this account." Maya stared at the papers like they were written in another language. "You went through everything," she said. "Yes." "That's unbelievable." "What's unbelievable is telling me you couldn't contribute more because of student loans while sending thousands to your ex from our shared account." "I am paying my loans." "I didn't say you weren't. I said you used that as the reason I had to carry us while you carried him." Her eyes filled with tears, but I didn't move toward her. That instinct was still there, embarrassingly enough, but I didn't obey it. "I was trying to do the right thing," she whispered. "For who?" Before she could answer, her phone rang. "Caleb." She declined it. It rang again. She declined it again. "Answer him," I said. "No." "Then tell him the truth by text. Stop trying to humiliate me. I'm trying to clarify my own involvement." "You would not dare," she said. The phone rang a third time. I held out my hand. "Either you answer and explain, or I answer on speaker and only say what involves me." She clutched the phone to her chest. For a second, I thought she might throw it. Then she shoved it at me like she wanted to prove she wasn't scared. I answered and put it on speaker. A man's voice came through, tense and tired. "Maya? What's going on?" "This is Tristan," I said. Silence. "Then who?" "The person whose account your rent money has been coming from." Another silence. Longer this time. "What account?" Caleb asked. "The joint account I share with Maya. My girlfriend. The woman I live with." Maya made a panicked sound. "Tristan, stop." Caleb's voice changed. "Maya." She grabbed for the phone, but I stepped back. "I'm not going to insult you," I said to Caleb. "I'm not interested in a fight. I need to know what she told you." Caleb exhaled hard into the phone. "She told me she was single." Maya started crying. He continued, slower now, like he was putting it together as he spoke. She said she was living with a roommate temporarily because rent was unreasonable. She said you were some roommate from before. I thought she was just bad at explaining things. I looked at Maya. Roommate. She covered her face. Caleb said. She told me the money was hers. She said she was helping because she still cared and because I'd helped her before. I didn't know there was a boyfriend. I didn't know it was a joint account. Maya suddenly snapped. You didn't ask questions when you needed the money. Caleb went quiet, then said, because I trusted you. That shut the room down. The dishwasher clunked through its cycle like a machine falling downstairs. Maya wiped her face with both hands. I didn't know how to stop. You could have started by telling one truth, I said. She turned on Caleb then, voice rising. And you kept needing more. You kept making me feel like if I didn't help, you'd end up on the street. He sounded embarrassed and angry at the same time. I was desperate. That doesn't mean I asked you to lie to someone for me. I was trying to help you. You were keeping me strung along, he said. And him too, apparently. I ended the call after that. Not to protect Maya. To protect myself from hearing more. She looked at me like I had completely dismantled her life. Maybe I had dismantled the version of it she was juggling. The next day, Lena texted me. Maya's older sister. She had always been polite to me, though protective in that older sister way where every boyfriend starts slightly guilty until proven otherwise. Lena, Maya is devastated. I know money stuff gets messy, but couples work through mistakes. Please don't make a permanent decision while you're angry. I stared at the message for a long time. A year earlier, I might have over-explained. I might have apologized for being upset. Instead, I cropped a summary showing the dates, amounts, and transfers to Caleb, blocking out account numbers, and anything that wasn't necessary. This was not one mistake. I'm not asking you to take sides. I'm asking you not to pressure me without knowing what happened. She didn't answer for almost an hour. Then, Lena, I thought this was a couple fight. I didn't know she was taking that much. I'm sorry. That was the last time she tried to intervene. The final weeks in the apartment were awful in a quiet, practical way. Maya moved through phases. Anger in the morning. Apology by lunch. Bargaining at night. We can rebuild the trust, she said once while I packed books into a box. No, I said. You haven't even tried. I tried for 3 years. I just didn't know what I was trying against. Another night, she stood in the doorway of the office while I unscrewed my desk legs. So you're just leaving me with everything? I'm leaving you with your bills. You know I can't afford this place alone. I know. That's cold. Using me to pay your ex-boyfriend's rent was cold. She flinched, and I felt cruel for exactly 1 second. Then I remembered the tablet notification. I packed what was mine. My desk. My clothes. The cookware I bought before we moved in together. Half the towels. The coffee maker, because she didn't drink coffee unless it came iced and cost $7. I left the couch because we had bought it together and I didn't want to fight over a sagging gray sectional. On my last day there, I took the whiteboard off the fridge. It still had old grocery notes ghosted into it no matter how many times we erased them. Eggs. Paper towels. Call lender. Venue. For some reason, that stupid whiteboard hurt more than the couch. I stood there holding it, remembering Maya writing house fund with 3 exclamation points after my annual bonus hit. I remembered feeling proud, useful, loved. Then I set it back against the fridge and left it there. Some things only looked like plans because I had wanted them to. Caleb messaged me once a week after the confrontation. I don't know how he found me, probably through Maya's social media after everything fell apart between them. Caleb, I'm sorry. I cut contact with her. I didn't know. I can't repay everything right now, but I can send small payments if you want. I sat with that message for a while. Part of me wanted to take the money just to make the whole thing feel balanced. But it wouldn't. Caleb had taken money he thought Maya had chosen to give. That didn't make him wise, but it didn't make him the architect. Keep your side clean and don't contact me again. I'm not looking to collect from you. He replied with a simple, understood, and that was it. Maya had to find a cheaper place or a roommate. I heard that much from Lena, who sent one final text telling me Maya was moving in with a coworker temporarily. The house fund was gone as a concept, even though the actual remaining money had been separated. The wedding plan was gone. Caleb was gone. I was gone. The consequence was simple. She had to live on the truth. My new apartment is smaller. 1 bedroom, older cabinets, a view of the parking lot, and a downstairs neighbor who smokes on his patio, even though the lease definitely says he shouldn't. For the first week, I ate dinner on a folding chair because my table hadn't arrived yet. The first meal was takeout lo mein straight from the carton, with my laptop balanced on a moving box, and my phone charging from an outlet that only works if the plug is angled right. It was the first meal I'd eaten in months that didn't feel like it came with a hidden bill. I'm embarrassed, honestly. Not because I helped someone I loved, but because I ignored the difference between partnership and being quietly drained. I heard student loans and stress, and I'm trying so many times that I stopped asking whether the math matched the story. I let my fear of being controlling turn into financial blindness. I don't regret paying more when I thought we were building something. I regret staying generous after the numbers started whispering that something was wrong. Maya emailed me last week. No subject line. Just 3 paragraphs saying she hoped one day I'd understand that she was scared and overwhelmed and didn't know how to tell me the truth. She said closing the account and refusing to renew the lease without one real conversation was cruel. Maybe it was cold. I can admit that. But I did have the real conversation. It just happened with bank statements on the kitchen island and the man she'd lied to on speakerphone. If you liked it, don't forget to leave a comment and support the channel by subscribing. See you in the upcoming stories.